What? I thought you found your endgame keyboard.
But this is a gaming keyboard.
Hello everyone, and thanks for checking out my video on the Razer Blackwidow V4 75%. This is the white edition. Now, one thing about this keyboard that I was very excited about was I was finally able to see a big company, a gaming company such as Razer, decided to make a custom keyboard. I've been using this for about a week now. Now, if you haven't seen my unboxing video, I will link it up there somewhere. And I have some thoughts on this keyboard. Being at the price point of $200 for the white edition, I know the black edition is $10 less at $190. By the way, check out this RGB on here. Wow, doesn't this look good? So in this video, I'm going to go and take this apart, and I'm going to look into the inside of it. Now, Razer says by taking it apart, it voids your warranty, which I don't understand, because what's the point of making a custom keyboard if you can't take the keyboard apart without worrying about voiding a warranty? But whatever, do what you gotta do, Razer. And I will give you my view and thoughts on this keyboard. But I'm just going to tell you right now, personally, I think this keyboard at $200 is slightly overpriced. Now, this is a good keyboard, so I am not going to say it's a bad keyboard, because it's not. Look at this. This is kind of cool. But I'm having a hard time justifying the $200 price point considering the competition that are out there. Oh, by the way, this keyboard comes with this really cool wrist rest. Goes right on there. It's magnetic. Very, very plush. Very, very comfortable. What I will be doing is put on these keycaps. These are the ASA profile keycaps made from Akko, and I'm going to change the stabilizer that's on there with these guys. I know everybody says use Durock V2. You know what? I want to give equals a chance here. These are made by equals. These are wholly modded. These are lubed with Krytox 205, and they're lubed with dielectric grease on there. And you know what? I'm going to give these screw-in stabs a chance here. Also, for the switches, now bear this in mind, personally, I'm actually a big fan of tactile switches, so I really like these switches for general use. However, if you're talking about a gaming keyboard, I personally prefer linears, so I'm going to go ahead and swap out the tactiles with these. These are made by Akko. I'm trying to keep the pricing of this keyboard down a little bit. These are their CS Jelly. What is this? The Starfish, I believe this is called. This is supposed to be color after Patrick on SpongeBob. And these are hand lubed with the glorious G lube. Sounds very nice, by the way. I really like these for a linear switch. Anyway, so I'm going to do a sound test in a stock form, and then at the end, after the new stabilizer has been put on and the switch has been put on, we're going to do another sound test and see how it all goes.
I'm going to start a disassembly by taking apart the keycaps. I do plan on replacing these keycaps with those Akko ASA profile that I showed earlier. And here we go.
Look at these Razer. This is their new yellow tactile switches. Now, this is a good time to talk about the included Razer keycaps and switch puller. Now, I gotta say, this thing is not good. It is not easy to use. I mean, look at, I pull one switch. See that? It's already, okay, see if you can see it on camera. See, it's already bent. Yeah, Razer, give us some better stuff, would you? But, I'm not gonna complain too much. I look at this as a free gift, I guess. Can't complain about a free gift. But now, let's take a deeper look into these yellow tactiles really quick. Supposedly they are factory pre-lubed. You can tell there's a little clear edge there for the RGB to shine through, and the RGB does look really nice on it. If you saw it in the intro, in the beginning of the video when I showed the RGB, you can see how nice the RGB is. Let's open one of these up and see what it looks like on the inside. What's nice about these switches are these are actually these are the cherry style. These are the cherry style switches, which I think this makes it a little bit easier to work with when you're opening them. Razer wrist rest comes in handy right now. Look at that. Easy to pop open, that's for sure. Here's our top housing. This is a stem. Hope the camera can catch this. There is a little bit of a sheen on there. I don't know how good of a factory lube job they did, but there is definitely a very thin layer of lube on there, that's for sure. And the spring and the bottom housing looks like this. I say, you know, these tactile switches, after using them for the last week, because the entire week I've only used these keyboards in stock form, I have to tell you, these are really, really good switches. And I personally think majority of the money that you pay for this keyboard went to these switches. I really like these switches, and they do sell them separately. Now, I've seen other reviewers taking this apart without taking off the switches nor the keycaps, but I already took off the keycaps, so you know, I'm going to go ahead and unscrew this from the back with the switches on, and I'll take off the switches from the piece once I have it disassembled. So let's try that. First time doing this, no idea how this is going to go, but you know, part of being a custom keyboard guy is to experiment with stuff like this. And here's the screw. I think this is the one they're talking about. If that seal right there, I don't know if you can see it, there's a little seal there. That seal is broken, the warranty is void. So I guess my warranty is void now. You can see there's two you gotta take off. One on the, what do you call this? You can either take off the top frame or you can take it off on here. I chose to take off the top frame. There's a little black tab here. I don't know if you can see it. You gotta flip this up to pull the ribbon cable out. Same thing with the one that's connected to the PCB. These ribbon cables comes off like that. That's the daughterboard cable. You can just pinch right out, which is right here. So now we can take a look at the bottom of the case. It's got a nice foam there. It has two cables here, if you can see. That's connected to the side, which is for the side lighting here and here. This must be the daughter board. Down the bottom here, I don't know what this is for, but whatever. It's nice that they give you an extra tiny little foam here, which you know, I'm just gonna leave it as is because I think it's pretty nice to have. All right, so next up, let's take a look at the tape. So here's the tape that Razer put on. Not bad, but for the sake of putting on new stabilizers, I think I'm gonna go ahead and take this off for now. By the way, these are the factory stabilizer that it came in. They're just your generic plate mounted stabilizers. Nothing special. I don't see much lube on there at all. I mean, if you don't want to replace the stabilizers, I would highly recommend you at least lubing these, because there is not much going on here as far as that concerned. Alright, now with all the screws off, let's take the plate off. Take the plate apart from the PCB. What else do we have? Razer really thought of everything on this board, I gotta tell you. Here is our plate foam. This is really nice. This is a really nice foam they put here. No joke. This is really good. This is custom quality. This is a FR4 plate, I believe they say on their website. Compared to my QK, if you haven't seen that video, I'll link it up there somewhere. That one I also got the FR4 plate on that one, and I have to say, this is a very, very good plate. I mean, wow. This is okay. It's not quite as nice as the one I got on my QK, but this is very nice plate. Good job, Razer. And I like the fact they have these gaskets. I mean, these gaskets are not like one of those really small, dinky little ones. These are nice and thick. This Razer policy on void and warranty, if you open it up, I think this is complete BS. They should encourage people to open this up. But you know, I can see where they're coming from. Because Razer is more of a gaming brand. It's not really attractive. You know, it's not really a brand that a custom keyboard enthusiast such as myself would think of. And people that aren't too familiar with this whole process, Razer's afraid, you know, they're going to break something. So they're discouraging them from opening this up to do this. But hey, you know, I'm not saying I'm a super expert at this, but I've done this quite a few times. So I'm experienced and seasoned at this process. All right, let's get our stabilizers on. These screw-in stabilizers on, and put everything back together. So, be right back. All right, with all my stabilizers on there, I gotta say, the way I've worked with quite a few custom keyboards, but the way this PCB is set up to put these on was actually pretty darn easy. Obviously, before we put everything back together, let's test out these stabilizers just to make sure they actually work. Okay, here we go. Alright, they work. You know, they don't sound too bad just like this. Alright, we got the plate and the tape back on. Just 6 screws to screw back in. Next up, let's put the switches in before I reconnect the cables and everything. Alright, now we got all the switches back on. We got the keyboard put back together. I got the ribbon cables put back in. Now, the ribbon cable process was a major pain in the butt. So, just a word of warning if you decided to do that. Now, of course, before I put the keycaps back on, because, you know, that's another process that takes time, I'm going to go ahead and test the switches, make sure everything is working properly. Before I do that, first of all, the volume roller seems to be working fine. The mute button works. The play button works. Okay. By the way, I ran out of these switches, so for the function rows and some of these modifier keys, I just used the regular Gateron yellows, in case you're wondering. Now it's time for our final sound test with the new stabilizers and the new fin switches and keycaps.
one thing about Synapse I do want to mention real quick. Now, for the most part, you can, like you can see here, I reprogrammed some of these keys to the way I like it. But there's one thing that about this keyboard is in the Razer Hyper Shift mode, which is a mode when you hold the function key down, it brings you like a second layer. So you can tell here on the function FA I have set up as insert. But if you look at these keys, the F9 through 12, this key cannot be remapped. Okay, these are not remapped. The multimedia key cannot be remapped at all. The mute button key you can, and the volume key, the roller can, but you have to have the Synapse open. And then these side keys, these 4 side keys, you cannot remap the hyper shift layer. If I switch it back to a standard, then you can change it. Like I have the F12 to delete. I have my I have the delete key set as the home key, etc., etc. So this one thing to mention, because on my other Razer keyboards that I have, I don't have that issue, and so I just thought I'd mention it here.
So after a week of heavy use on the Razer Blackwidow V4 75% custom keyboard, what are my final thoughts and basically an overall review of this keyboard? This is a step in the right direction for the custom keyboard world. When a big company like Razer come in and step up and really listen to the community to see what exactly the community wants. The case foam, the plate foam, the FR4 plate, the tactile switch that it comes with, although it's kind of weird not being linear since it's a gaming keyboard, but the switch itself is very, very nice. I mean, the keyboard itself just screams custom keyboard to you. And I'm very glad to see Razer made a product like this. However, do I think you should get it? At $200, right now, at the time of this filming, which is fall of 2023, just about couple weeks after the white edition's been out, the competition is fierce in the custom keyboard world right now. $200, you're looking at something like, you can get something like the Keychron Q1 Pro, which has all aluminum body, which offers wireless with Bluetooth capabilities. I know you're saying, oh, why would I need wireless? Bluetooth wireless for gaming. Oh, it's not stable. Well, you know what? It does have USB-C for wire, so you'll be fine. Or Keychron also makes a cheaper version called the KA Pro, I believe. That also has wireless. That's like $120, I believe, on their website. And it's $80 less than this white edition, and it packs a lot of features. One thing about Keychrons and or a brand like a QK or the Zoom 65 that I review, they use VIA, which is one of the best software for keyboards, in my humble opinion. I don't understand why big companies such as Razer, Corsair, or Logitech, they can't figure out the software part. Synapse is good, but it's clunky and it takes up a lot of resources. And a lot of times, for some of the functions, especially when it comes to macros, Synapse is needed to run in the background. I don't understand the thinking behind that. If the keyboard has onboard storage, why can't it just store all these information? Anyway, these are just some of my gripes with these big gaming companies just in general. But who should buy this keyboard? In my opinion, if you are a fan of Razer, you like Razer, you have Razer peripherals already, maybe you have a Razer laptop, you're just a Razer fan, and you want to dabble into this custom keyboard world, but you don't know where to start. You never heard of Keychron, you never heard of QK, you never heard of these other brands that I'm mentioning, you go to YouTube, you see all these videos of these custom keyboards, you never heard of these brands before, but you know Razer, and you know what? This keyboard by Razer, even though I do believe slightly overpriced at $200, I would like to see it at around $170, maybe even $150. Then we have an absolute home run here. But you gotta pay that Razer tax, which I understand. If you're a fan of Razer and you like their products and you want to dabble in the custom keyboard world, this is an absolute great point to start. Okay, once you start on this, maybe we'll see where it takes you. Who knows? Maybe you'll love it. Maybe you want to experiment more, or maybe you know what, you're good enough with what you have. I want to thank you for watching my video. Please hit that like button for me if you're liking this video. Subscribe to my channel to help my channel grow. Thank you, and I hope I'll see you in my next video.